Hi everyone. So today we will study about the basic interview questions or intermediate and advanced interview questions regarding the topic HTML. So without wasting much of your time, we'll directly jump to our HTML topic. So very first question will be, what is HTML? What is its main purpose? So HTML is a hypertext markup language and it is used to create web pages and to provide the structure and content to our website. If you want to organize content which should define some meaning, then you can use HTML. If you want to create links between different documents or within a document, you can use HTML. It is also used to add images, videos, audios in your websites, like we basically call it embedding media. Also, you can create forms with HTML, interactive forms which can take user input also, and for search engine optimization also, it helps search engine to understand the content. You can use HTML. A very basic structure or example, or we'll say the boilerplate code of HTML is doc type HTML. Then HTML lang en means English language. Then head tag. Then this is meta information that this characters at UTF-8 we are going to use. Then title, my first page. Then we'll close the head tag. Then body tag will start, and there are different tags we can use inside body tag. For example, H1 to H6 are heading tags, paragraph tag. Then we'll in the end we'll close body tag and HTML tag. And now the next question, what is the difference between HTML tags and HTML elements? Many people might get confused what is tag and what is HTML. Basically, these two things are not same, but people misunderstood it that these are same. So this is one of the important question which interviewers usually ask. So HTML tags, markup code written with angular brackets. Whatever you are writing, like for example, this body, this HTML, this is a tag. Whatever thing you are writing inside this angular bracket is your tag. An element is the complete unit, including opening tag, content, and its closing tag. For example, the heading tag you have used here, this whole is an element because it includes the opening tag, the content, and this closing tag. So now it should be clear that tag and elements both are different things, not same. And you might get confused. What is this doc type? Don't get confused. It is very simple. Doc type is document type declaration. It is used to tell the browser that which version of HTML the document is going to use. It must be the first line in every HTML document. So see here and boilerplate code also. Very first line is the document type declaration only. And why it is important? It ensures browser render pages correctly. It prevents quirks mode rendering. It validates the HTML structure and required for HTML5 standard. So this basically tells if we will write doc type HTML, then it will tell the browser that we are going to use HTML5. So this is now the same which we have seen the boilerplate code like that only. The H1 tag is used heading this complete is an element. And what are semantic HTML elements? You are now aware of elements, so you must know what are semantic HTML elements. Semantic, the word itself defines that the clear meaning should be known, like clearly describe their meaning to both the browser and the developer. So to whom the clear meaning should be described? It should be described to the browser and the developer. And why it is so? Because it improves search engine optimization, it improves accessibility, and it also improves code readability. Some common semantic elements, if interviewer will ask you what are semantic elements, so with explaining the definition, if you will give some examples also, then it would be better. So header tag itself is defining that it would be the document header. Nav tag itself defining that some navigation link will be there. Article tag will contain some self contained content. So with name only we can understand what is the purpose of these tags, like sections. Aside is used to create sidebars or related content. Footer to contain the footer information we basically use in the end of the document. And in main, we will write the main content of our document. For example, if you are creating a website in a h1 tag, you gave my heading. Then you created the navigation. Inside navigation, you created the unordered list, and inside unordered list, you have two list items, home and about. So this will be your header section, then will be your main section, then in the end, your first see, this is header section, then it is divided that this will be the main section, and then footer section will be there. In footer section, you basically write the copyright. This is for copyright symbol. We use this. And my website. In main, you can use any article and their content can go. In header, you basically use navigation and the links for home and about. Now, there are two different things, inline elements and block level elements. So what are this div and span? You'll get to know about this. So div is a block level element and span is an inline element. Block level means if you have defined something in div, it will take the whole space, whole width of your web page. But if you write something inside span tag, it won't take the whole web page space. It will take only the space you have defined for it. Okay. So it will take full width, it will take only the required width. And block level element div we basically use for top and bottom margins, and spam do not have any top and bottom margins. And div you can use for containers, for uh, preparing some section, making some section. Span you basically used for styling some text or styling some lines or style for basically styling you use it. For example, if you see this div, we are giving some background light blue, and this div will take full width and create new lines. And span you can use to highlight this word, that if you want this in red color, you are using span tag to style it. This is inline styling method. And what are attributes in HTML? You know what is tag, what is HTML. Now, what are attributes? And we have to tell if you want to give some additional information about any of the HTML element, then we use attributes. They are written inside opening tags and as name value pairs they are usually written. For example, we have common attributes ID, class, style, alt, href, source, and title. ID is for unique identifier. You cannot give one ID to multiple tags or multiple objects you have created. ID is always unique for everyone. But class can be same for different elements. It is also used for styling. And style is used to give inline CSS styles. Alt is for alternative text for images. If your image won't be visible, then because of some issues or something, might be the path is wrong for image, then the alternate text, whatever you will write, will be visible on the browser. Href is for linking the web pages, like with you use basically href with anchor tag, that on this hyperreference the you have to go. And src source is for image or script, that this is the source in which you will enter the path or the image, whatever relative or absolute path you have. And title is for tooltip text, whatever, if you will see hover on, if you will hover on something like an image only, the text will be visible, whatever it will be visible as a tooltip. This is just an example, totally understandable that these attributes are we have used with image, and with anchor tag we have used this. Target equals to underscore blank. Target is also one of the attribute, and then equals to underscore blank means that whenever user will click on this link, this will get opened in a new window. And what are meta tags? What are their uses? Remember, I told you about that meta tag was there in head section when we saw this. See, this was a meta tag. So we are going to study about this meta tag now. So meta tags provide metadata about HTML documents. For HTML documents, it provides additional informations. They are placed in head section and not displayed on the page. They are always placed in head section. And what it basically contains, that what character encoding we are using, like we used UTF-8 and mostly we will use UTF-8 only. And what is viewport? Viewport is responsible for the responsive design settings. Like if someone will open something, some website in mobile phone or tablet or desktop, these all have different screen sizes. So what is the viewport? How you want to set it? That will be contained in this meta tag only. And description, which helps the search engine to find the website, that what website is this for. And keywords for search engine optimization, author, who is the author of this page or website, refresh, to auto refresh the page or not. Example like this, you can use meta character set, meta content, meta name, description, viewport. Like these viewport, description, these all things, keywords we use in an attribute called name, viewport, how will be width, device width. You need not to go in much detail, just you should be aware of what are some attributes of meta tag and what is meta tag, why meta tag is used for. Now what is the difference between strong and b? Strong was used like for strong has some semantic meaning, you can say. With name it is clear that something will be there in bold. And this B is basically means bold, but it don't have any meaning. With B, people might get confused what is B. So it is not having any meaning without semantic meaning, whereas strong is with semantic meaning. And it conveys, strong conveys the importance, and bold is for pure styling. Strong affects search engine optimization, whereas bold doesn't. And it is strong is used for important text, and bold is used for styling only. But if you'll see on the screen, if you'll write something as a paragraph in strong, what will happen? You will see that very important will be highlighted, like this text will be somewhere, you can say its width will get increased, and it will look similar to what the bold does. That, and this bold author will get bolded here. So similarly for italics we have em, and now we use I. So these strong and em we use to have, like we are using them before when HTML5 came, but in HTML5 and after improvements, now people mostly use bold and B and I tag. Now, what is the difference between OL, UL, DL? OL is ordered list, UL is unordered list, DL is description list. Okay, so what order list does? We can create ordered list like this. In OL tag, we'll give some list items. For unordered list, we'll create UL tag and we'll give some items. Description list, we have description title and description definition. Then about this, we can create different title and descriptions inside description list. Now, what is the purpose of form tag? Form tag creates interactive forms to collect the user data. It contains input element and send data to the server, and also it can contain different radio buttons, email, submit button, and different checkbox and everything. Form is very useful when you want to interact with user data. And it has some attributes, important attributes like action, method, name, and ENC type, encoding type. Okay. Action is URL where the data is sent. Like you will see example here, action is submit form. The data will go to this URL. Okay. Method is which HTTP method you are using, either get or post. Name will be form identifier. What is this form for? It is a contact form like this. ENC type, encoding type to form the data. What is encoding type you have used? Now, this is the form tag we are creating, and it has different attributes like action, method we are using post, and name is for the form is contact form. Now inside this we are creating one label whose name will be name, and then we are giving some input which is of type text, and its ID is name and name is also name, and it is a required field. If you won't fill this field, then you won't be able to submit the form. Then similarly, we are creating email label, and it is also a required field. Then we are creating a message label. Then we are creating this button of type submit send, and we are creating one clear button of type reset. And then we are closing the form. This is what a form looks like. Now, what are the different input types in HTML? HTML5 have introduced many new input types for better form validation and user experience. Some of them are text, which is used to input single line text, email for email addresses with validation, password for masked password inputs, number for numeric inputs, date for date picker, file to upload file, checkbox for multiple selection of the items, radio buttons are for single selection of option, range is a kind of slider will be there, like if there will be one point and there will be one slider, you can drag from here to here, like there will be kind of slider, like you can move here and there with that slider. There is one progress bar also, color also. So this is the usage they have shown. And the range can be minimum 0 and maximum you can give 100,000 whatever you want. Now what is the difference between image tag and picture tag? Image tag is for single image source and picture tag is to capture multiple image sources. Image tag is simple in implementation, and picture basically we use for responsive images, like if the screen size is of mobile, then the image which will be visible is different. And then inside picture tag we use img tag for this purpose, and if it's tablet the image size will vary and that image will put, and if it is desktop the image size will vary and will put that. And image tag we don't have any source flexibility, but in picture tag we have the direction supports in which direction we want. And image tag is basically used if you have single image to place. For example, image this src image this is being used and alternate text description we has given. Now in picture tag what we have done is media, like if the width of minimum width is this, then source src set source set will be this image, not img tag. I was saying img tag now. First we'll set source, then we'll set img tag. So before image you want to set, you have to give like what was the source media and source set. Now, what are data attributes? How do we use them? Data attributes store custom data on HTML elements. They start with data and allow you to attach custom information. And it has a lot of benefits. For example, if you want to store application specific data, then you should use this data attribute. And if you want to keep markup clean and you want it to get accessible via JavaScript, and it is valid in HTML5. It was not there before HTML5. For example, you created this div with the ID user. Now you are setting data user ID this, data username this, and data role admin. And you created a div named user profile as content. Then you are creating a script. This script tag is basically used in JavaScript. Here you are defining a constant user div in which you are accessing the element by id user document.get element by id. Once you will go through JavaScript, you will get to know about this. Then you can access the data attributes using the user div constant you have created dot dataset dot user id, then it will be visible to you. And you can even set the data attributes like status active, and then you can close your script. And this script tag is from basically JavaScript. What is canvas element? Canvas element is a container for graphic designs via your drawings via JavaScript. It provides a space to draw shapes, images, and animations. Key points: drawing surface defined by width and height attribute, graphics created using JavaScript Canvas API, and raster based, pixel based, used for games, animation, and charts. Think of it as a graphical user interface where it's kind of container which is used to draw shapes, images, and animations. Here you have to start canvas opening tag, then you can give it an id like my canvas. You can assign some width and height like this. Here, these all are attributes of canvas tag. Then you can close your canvas and you can write your script and modify whatever things you want. For example, you first got the element with its id my canvas, then you get its context that it will be 2D, then you draw a rectangle and filled its style will be blue, and fill this rectangle, and the dimensions will be length, breadth, and all these will be length will be 10, and this breadth, then you can see that a rectangle will created with these dimensions. Okay, then you can similarly draw a circle like this and draw a text like this. What is SVG element and how it is different from canvas? SVG is scalable vector graphics, and it is more of XML based format for vector graphics. Unlike Canvas, SVG creates vector-based scalable graphics. Now, same is this SVG tag you need to open. Then you can give some height and width. Then you can directly use rect and give its length and breadth and width and height and what fill you want. Then a circle, what X, CX, CY, R, radius and all you can write here. And there is difference in their graphics type, like vector is used here, here pixel is used, and scalable. SVG is scalable, but there might be chances that like no loss or minor loss is there in SVG. But in Canvas, if you will scale it up, then you will get blur images, like blur canvas will be generated. And individual shapes in DOMs is possible in SVG, whereas in Canvas you can create single canvas element only. If you want to do static graphics, then you SVG is better, and if you want animation, then Canvas is better. And SVG is easier to modify, whereas Canva, if you want to modify, it's difficult, then it requires redrawing instead of modifying. Now, these were the basics interviewer questions. Now we'll go through some intermediate interview questions. What is the difference between inline block and inline block element? These are elements I told you. Inline element was span element, which we basically used for styling, and block element was like div, which we basically used to add our content to which expands to our full width of the page. So block level element takes the full width. Inline takes only the required space, whereas in inline block you will set the width. Height will be set in block element, height will be whatever you will set. In inline, the height is always ignored, and inline block you will set the height. Now, in block level elements, there is auto application of top and bottom margin, and in inline only left and right margin is there, no top and bottom margin. And in inline block, all top, bottom, left, right, all kinds of margins are applicable. Block level elements like div, paragraph, heading tags. Inline like strong, span and anchor. Inline block like image and button. These are the examples, we need not to go in detail. Now, what is the purpose of label elements in form? Label name suggests that it is used to give some text with form inputs like what is your name, first name, last name. These are all labels. To improve usability and accessibility, we use this tag. It increases clickable area for checkbox and radio buttons. It improves accessibility for screen readers. This is important. And it links descriptive text to inputs. It is for better mobile experience also. If you will just give an input box and you will not give any label, now how will one understand that it is for email address or what is it for? So that's why it is very important to assign some label. This is a general example that you are using email address, then input tag you are creating, then you are nesting input inside the label tag, that it should be checkbox kind of thing, that I agree. Sometimes we see that whenever we log into any banking application or something, we have one box like this. We have to check it first. This is the kind of checkbox that I agree to terms and conditions. Then these are multiple labels inside field set. This is also one label. Now, what are the HTML5 audio and video elements? HTML5 has introduced these elements to enhance the user experience, and user can add or embed media without using any extra third-party plugins or extensions, we can say. So, audio tag itself has many attributes like controls. We have to write then what is the width for it. Now source would be this MP3 audio path we are giving, and its type is audio MPEG, or its type is audio OGG, or video tag is also there. Video tag is also similar. To control the video, you can give height and width, and this height width only you should start the video. Then using the source tag only you can give the video sources and what is the type of video. Then it's advanced video with track for subtitles also. Then you can use this track attribute, that kind, what is the kind subtitles and source, like this. And what should be the source language and what should be the label in English language. What is iframe element used for? Iframe basically means it will embed another HTML page within the current page, creating an inline frame. Iframe full form is inline frame. For example, you are creating a web page. Inside that, you want a window or kind of something in which another web page is embedded. Then you will use iframe. And the common uses embed YouTube videos, like including maps, or embedding external contacts like sandbox untrusted content, or create document viewers. Iframe can be embedded like this. Iframe will give its width and height, what is the source like YouTube video, any, then what is the title, then frame border, what we want to allow, full screen, autoplay, clipboard, and encrypted media, and all picture in picture mode, everything you can see. Then you can close this iframe. You can embed Google Map like this. You can embed anything you want in an iframe. What is the purpose of alt attribute in image? I already told you, to provide alternate text for the images when they cannot be displayed for accessibility purposes. And it is good for search engine optimization and displayed when image fails to load due to some error, like wrong path or something. And it also improves users experience. So this is alternate text we are giving. If image won't be visible, this alternate text will be visible. But you should give alternate text something meaningful, like a snow covered with mountain peak at sunset. People will be able to understand this text more, that what was there in image, instead of this alternate text image or empty. This is a bad example. Now, what is field set and legend elements? Field set groups related form elements. If there are some related form elements, then you can combine them in a field set group. And legend provides a caption for that group. Provide the caption for that group, we use tag. It improves forms organization. It enhances accessibility. It provides visuals and semantic structure, and can be styled with CSS. For example, here is a field set where caption we are giving is, or legend we are giving is personal information. We are giving label inputs and all we are designing. So first name and last name can be one category. So we entered this in one field set, and the contact information, email, phone number can be there. So we combine them in one field set. Then we had one button, submit button. Now I told you that in form you can have two methods, like whether it's get method or post method you are using. So get method URL query string, its location is URL query string, whereas its request for body. And get is less secure because it is visible in the URL, whereas post will not be visible in the URL, so it is more secure. And there is data limit of 2000 characters in get request, whereas we don't have any limit for post. And cache get is cacheable, whereas post is not cacheable. And we can bookmark get method, but we cannot bookmark post method. And we can retrieve data easily using get. And submitting sensitive data, we need post. So for example, form action, here the method we are using get. Input type, placeholder, this search you can use. So this is just an example. And here you'll put that method post, then you can use login button here, and you can give input like input type text, username and password you can assign here. Now, what is responsive web design? Responsive web design creates websites that adapt to different screen size and devices using flexible layouts and media queries. I told you that mobile, tablet, laptop, desktops all have different sizes. To adapt different screen sizes and devices, we use flexible layouts and media queries, that is responsive web designing. For example, its key principles are relative sizing instead of fixed pixel. We use relative sizing instead of giving it in pixel, and we use image scales with their containers and CSS rules for different screen size. Media queries we use, and proper scaling is there on mobile devices using meta tag inside head tag. For example, here inside head tag we are giving meta tag the viewport that it is width will be whatever the device width will be, and it's like this. We are giving some styling here, this you, and in this at the rate media we are saying that if maximum width is this, then the container padding will be this. If the maximum width is this, then the grid template columns will be this. So this is at the rate media we are using for responsive designing. So once you will go through CSS, you'll better understand this. Now, what is progressive enhancement? Progressive enhancement is the design physiology that emphasizes the core functionality available to all browsers with advanced features for capable browsers. Three layers are there: HTML, which will contain basic content and functionality; CSS is for designing purpose and visual presentation; JavaScript is to enhance interactivity and advanced interactivity. So, this is progressive enhancement only, that initially we had only content and basic functionality, then we added some visual representations in that using CSS, then we added the interactivity using the JavaScript. Without JavaScript or CSS, the form will be very boring, but if you add some design colors, the form will get enhanced. And if you add some submit button and query generators, use query selector, then using this you will get the better interaction with the form. So this is what we say is progressive enhancement. What is accessibility and why it is important in HTML? Accessibility ensure websites are usable by everyone, including people with disabilities, because they will use screen readers, and the tags kind of alternate tag and their semantic tags we are using is very beneficial in that case. And its key components are accessible rich internet applications, semantic HTML, proper use of tags, color contrast, keyboard navigation, full functionality without mouse, screen reader support. So this is accessibility in HTML. So next is, what is the purpose of head section? Head section will contain metadata and configuration information that won't be displayed directly on the page or the web page. And its common elements are title, meta, link, style, script base. In title, the name is suggesting the whatever the page title is in the browser tab. Meta will contain the information about the page. Link will be some external source. Style will be some internal CSS styling. Script will be some JavaScript code or imports. Base URL is for relative links. So this is just an example. You can go through it later. What is the purpose of no script element? No script element displays content when JavaScript is displayed in the browser. Use cases, it will provide fallback content for non-JS users, show alternative functionality, message asking to enable JavaScript, redirect to alternate page. This is the purpose of no script tag. What is the template element? Template element will hold HTML that is not displayed immediately but can be cloned and inserted later via JavaScript, that is template. And reusable HTML snippets that we can again and again use them. It reduces the code duplication, it improves the performance, and it is used with web components like the card template we are using. Then we have one div inside it, then we have one heading, paragraph, and button of learn more. Then we are creating this, and using the script, we are creating different cards with different title and different descriptions. Now, what is the difference between relative and absolute URL? Relative to current page, and absolute will contain the full address. Relative URL will be shorter and more portable, whereas absolute will be complete and unambiguous. Relative will change with folder structure, but absolute will never change. Relative is good for internal links, and but for external links, absolute URL is better. Relative links like about.html, but where the about.html is, if we include its full path, like http dot 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 something, then that will be absolute URL. Now, what is the difference between section, article, and div? Section tag is having some meaning that is semantic as same article, but div is generic, not semantic tag. And section will itself suggesting that it's a particular section. Article will contain some self-contained text, and div is a kind of container. The use cases are like if you are creating some chapter or topic in a book, then you can use this section tag. If you are creating some blog post and adding some news, you can use article tag. If you are creating some styling and layout, then you should use div tag. Like this is the example where it is the use cases of this. What is the purpose of target attribute and links? Target attributes will specify where to open the link document. Like I told you, underscore blank will open it the link in new tab or window. Underscore self will open in same frame, and underscore self is the default. If you want to assign anything in target attribute, it will open the link in same frame. Parent underscore parent means it will open in parent frame, and underscore top means it will open in full window. Frame name, you can specify the named frame. Now, what is details and summary elements? The elements create an interactive disclosure widgets where users can toggle additional details on and off. Then these are the purpose of details and summary. For example, here inside details, you have a summary what is HTML. Then in paragraph, you are explaining, and then you close this detail tabs. It is for basically to reduce page clutter and to improve user experience. We use this details and summary tag. Now, what is time element used for? To represent a specific time or date so that it is easily readable, readable for browsers and search engines, to improve search engine optimization and better accessibility, and even parsing by browser. We use this time. For example, if P paragraph tag meeting is at what time, so we'll pass it in time tag. Like time, date time is whatever the date is there, we can assign it. So, what is mark element? Mark element highlights or marks text for reference or notation. It will highlight the search results. It will emphasize important passages. It will highlight in quotes and marking corrections or updates. That's why we use mark tag. Okay. Now, block quote is also there. Q is also there for quotation purposes. We use this highlighting in quotes. We use Q tag or black quote. It can also be asked in interview, so go through them also. What is progress and meter? Progress is to display in a kind of scroll. We can say this kind of, you will have something from 0 to 100 and your progress will be highlighted. Like if it's 50%, will be highlighted till mid. Whereas meter will display a scalar measurement like 1, 2, 3 and all. So progress bar example value you took is 70 and maximum is 50, so it will be covered till here. It will be covered. But if it's a meter and you have assigned some value, then there will be something, these kind of things will be, marks will be there in that. Now we are done with basic and intermediate HTML interview questions. These are some advanced HTML interviewer questions which can be asked. So we'll go through them also. What is Shadow DOM and how it is related to HTML? Shadow DOM is a browser feature that allows encapsulation of DOM and styles. It's a part of web component specification, and its benefit is it can encapsulate DOM, it can encapsulate the styling, and it can help creating reusable components, and it can prevent the conflicting in styles. For example, you created a template with this ID, then you created a style tag, you styled styles are scoped to shadow DOM. Like in container, you gave this styling. Then you created a div with this shadow DOM content and you call this class container where it will get highlighted in background will be blue and padding will be 20 pixels. So this is like advanced concept of shadow DOM, but it can be asked by the interviewers. So next is what are web components? These are usable custom HTML elements with encapsulated functionality and styling. It basically consists of shadow elements, shadow DOM, custom elements, templates, and HTML imports. So, for example, loading components which are now deprecated, that was HTML import. For example, you created a custom element, like you created a script tag. It is basically used in JavaScript, and you created a function and extended this HTML element in a constructor. Then you gave this super. I think you should not go in that much deep if you are a fresher. You need not to see these advanced interview part. You can see till basic and intermediate, but knowledge is never waste. So you can also go through them. What is intersection observer API? API is application programming interface, and intersection observer API, it allows you to observe when an element enters or leaves the viewport. So its name is suggesting whenever the element is entering or leaving the viewport, it will observe that. It is used for lazy loading images, infinite scroll, tracking visibility, triggering animation, add impression tracking. Okay, so what is Mutation Observer API? Its name suggests for monitoring the changes in DOM tree. DOM tree, you must be knowing that if it's a kind of tree only. Like if it's a HTML tag will be this. Then inside HTML, what we have, this is head and this is body tag. Then in body tag, whatever things we have like paragraph tag, like this is heading tag. So this creates a DOM structure, document object model. Like if we have any other tag, image tag or something, so this kind of structure, this is called tree, DOM tree, document object model. Now, what is resize observer API? Name is suggesting if you want to observe changes in size of element, then you can use this API. Now, page visibility API is used, or it allows you to detect when a page is visible or hidden to the user, because sometimes you can pause video music when tab is hidden, or you want to stop some animations for performance, or you want to pause some updates, or you want to track user engagement, then you use this API, page visibility API. And this basically comes when you go through some JavaScript also, like you this whole thing is of JavaScript. You are using this is whole JavaScript, and once you'll go through JavaScript, then only you'll able to understand what is this, what is this, and what is this. What is fetch API? Fetch API is suggesting it's a modern way to make HTTP requests. It has replaced XML HTTP request tag, and it is promise based. It supports various HTTP methods. It handles JSON text blobs. It has built-in request response handling. Now, what is local storage API? Local storage name is suggesting it allows you to store data on a client side that persists across browser sessions. It has 5 to 10 MB storage limits. It has key value pairs, synchronous access, same origin policy applies here. Now, what is session storage API? Session storage is similar to local, but data is cleared when the tab or window is closed. Okay, but in local storage, whenever if you close the tab or window, the data is not cleared. So it's a kind of temporary storage, because every time you'll close the tab, your session will get closed. It has 5 to 10 MB storage limit, and per tab per window storage, same API on local storage, and useful for temporary data. Now, what is IndexedDB API? IndexedDB is a large scale NoSQL database for storing structured data on the client side. And it stores structured data like objects. It is good for querying and indexing support. It has much larger storage capacity, GB, like in GBs, and it has asynchronous access, and it has transaction support also. Now, what is ARIA attributes and why they are important? ARIA name suggests that accessible rich internet application attribute. It enhances the accessibility by providing additional semantic information to assistive technology. Like area label provides an accessible name. This area described by will provide links to description. Area hidden hides from assistive tech. Area expanded indicates expanded state. Area pressed, ARIA, indicates pressed state. Role defines the element role. Like this button, you are giving this label search. This is helpful for accessibility purpose. What is a service worker API? Service worker API are JavaScript workers that run in background, enabling offline functionality and background tasks. It is used for caching strategies, push notification, background sync, network interception. Now, what is geolocation API? Geolocation API itself suggesting it will provide user location based on various inputs, GPS, IP address, and all. It requires user permissions also because without user permission, you can't track or trace the locations. Only works on HTTPS secure network only, not on unsecure network. It is privacy focused and asynchronous. What is Web Audio API? Name is suggesting it's a powerful and versatile system for controlling audio on the web. Audio playback control will be there, audio effects will be there, audio synthesis, real time audio processing, and frequency analysis will be there. Now, what is WebGL API and how it is different from Canvas 2D? WebGL is JavaScript API for rendering 3D graphics in web browser using the GPU. So in Canvas 2D, we have 2D only, whereas in WebGL, we have 3D graphics. In Canvas, it is CPU based, whereas WebGL is GPU accelerated. Canvas is very simple, WebGL is somewhat complex, and Canvas use case is basically for charts, whereas for WebGL is for games and 3D visualizations. So this was all about the HTML interview questions. It was the top 50 questions which can be asked by any of the interviewer if the role is specific to front end role or something related to HTML. If you have added something in your resume like HTML or front end, then you should go through this video. You'll get the knowledge of basic questions what can be asked in interview, the intermediate level questions, and the advanced level question. So this video is for beginners, advanced, pro, everyone, so everyone can brush up their knowledge, because anytime we are learning we can't retain everything in mind for longer time. We need to revise our concept. So I feel this video can be useful for you. If you feel that some changes or some like it's my beginning only, if you want some method change in teaching, like if you have some suggestions or if you have some positive feedback or negative feedback, if you'll comment that out, that will be beneficial for me to help you out in teaching. Like I can work on that from your feedback, and if you like it, please do like, share, and subscribe, and share it to your friends. Thanks all. Bye bye.